Often in gospel stories like this, I suggest thinking about who we identify with in the stories. Where do we find ourselves? Today I can relate to the blind man. I can also relate to the disciples and the Pharisees and Sadducees. It's easy for us to see that we are the blind beggar on the side of the road, especially with the virus as it is, the way it has isolated us, and the way that we are hoping, looking for answers, hoping that there's healing coming, that somebody will notice and that we won't be isolated and left alone. That is our constant plea and prayer from the side of the road. We're also those religious leaders wondering what this means for the faith community. As we don't meet together in sanctuaries, what does it mean to be church? Can we accept that our world has changed, even if it's for just a short time, and that we must respond in new ways? Is God doing something new even in the midst of the pandemic? We are disciples who ask what they assume to be a profound theological question about disability and sickness and the role of sin, only to be reminded by Jesus that this is a person who is beloved by God. The man hasn't sinned, the parents haven't sinned, but he is there that he might heal this blind man. Jesus told him, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. That's good words for us. We remain lights to this world and this community. But I also want to remind us that we are in the season of Lent. We need that reminder because we are experiencing time in a different way as our routines and our activities have slowed. Lent is a lens through which we view our world, especially in difficult times. We are on a wilderness journey that is unclear and without the usual lifelines and distractions that we hold on to. Routines have changed and we are somewhat wary of others. We do feel anxious. We're wondering what will come next. We have time on our hands, and we do not know how much longer this journey will last. I'm grateful for Dr. Walter Brueggemann's reflections on this fourth Sunday of Lent. He reminds us that Lent is a special season in the life of the church. It gives us time to pause, to think, to reflect, to decide, to ponder the painful life of Jesus, and to see our own life afresh in relation to him. Lent is countercultural because it moves against our busyness and our drive and our energy and control. Lent asks us to wait and to watch and to notice things we do not do well or easily. If you're like me, you need a time like Lent, that season where we are asked to stop, to reconsider life, this wandering in the wilderness. This week has been busy in a different way. We've had to scramble to figure out how to put this worship service together in a new format, how to bring us together as a church even though we are in different places. There's been other busyness as we've tried to figure out how do we minister to those in our community who normally come looking and seeking for help but have not. How do we make sure that they have what they need? And then there's just the busyness of how do we figure out how to maintain communication and contact with one another when we also need to keep some social distance because we don't want people to become sick. And yet, life continues to change around us and those normal routines that we normally have are gone. What do? There are more empty moments, and my own inclination is to try to fill it, to stay busy. We can always find something to do, but Lent offers us a different way to be and to celebrate some of the quiet moments we find ourselves in. Finding time to be in the wilderness, slowing down to find what is most important in life. We do not know what's the coming days will bring. And so we turn to the Good Shepherd to be our companion and help us to find our way. Again, from Dr. Brueggemann, he says, Lent is about noticing our blindness and seeing differently. He says, I invite you in this Lent to see differently, maybe even for the first time, to see past your anxiety, your greed, your fear, your control. See yourselves as the sheep of this good shepherd, as the traveler in God's good valley, as the citizen at home in God's good house. You will, when you see truly, be free and joyous and generous, unencumbered and grateful. Desire one thing, God's presence, and you will be less driven by all those phony desires that matter not at all. I'm going to ask, if you will, to pray with me Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. Amen.